The Bengals are 3-5 following Sunday's loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. It's time for our winners and our losers. There's a lot more losers than there are winners. Let's get into it right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Make sure you check out BengalsTalk.com because there's a ton for you. And whether it's win, lose, draw, we always have you covered here on CBT. And today's video brought to you by BetUS. I will also have some details to a cool event coming up on Tuesday. Andrew will be there. I will be there. Bengals players will be there. So stay tuned for that. But let's dive into our winners and our losers. And I always send, full disclosure, I send Andrew, who obviously you see on Enter the Jungle with me every single Tuesday at 8, but I send him a list of winners and losers as I record this video. I have them written out and ready to go just so he can put them together. And the winners list, well, there is none. Zero. Zilch. There are no winners. And I could say Jalen Hurts or the Eagles or Nick Sirianni, who, my goodness, I think he's a bad coach, but led the Eagles to a win on Sunday. I could also make the case for Joe Burrow. Played really well, especially in the first half. Buck 69 through the air, and really it looked like was going to put the team on his back. Had a nice run in the second half to extend the drive, and was playing well. But I don't think Joe would want to be on the winners list. So no winners this week. Let's get to the losers. And it starts with the Bengals wide receivers. Wide receivers not named Jamar Chase. And Jamar had 9 catches on 11 targets for 54 yards. Jermaine Burton caught 1 pass. It was a nice pass, nice catch for 41 yards. Then it was Eric All, Zach Moss, Chase Brown, Andre Yosavash, and Trent Irwin were the only other 2 wide receivers that were targeted. They combined for 1 catch on 4 targets for 4 yards. Irwin had a 4-yard catch. Andre Yosavash had a drop. The wide receivers not named Jamar Chase are in the loser category today. And that includes Burton, even though he obviously flashed and made a play. I also ran the wrong route, wasn't on the same page with Joe Burrow. And so they desperately need a wide receiver not named Jamar Chase and Tee Higgins to emerge here. They desperately need a third option. And you could argue, oh, well, Mike Gesicki was playing that wide receiver role. He had 7 catches for 73 yards. Fine. But when the Bengals signed Mike Gesicki, you thought he would complement this offense, not be a go-to guy in this offense anytime Tee Higgins was out. And the moment we found out T was out, my mind went to Mike Gesicki. And that's just not good enough. They need one of these wide receivers to step up. I have a stat here for you, and this courtesy of my good friend and colleague, Jay Morrison, who you can read his work at BengalsTalk.com. Higgins has missed 7 games due to hamstring and quad injuries during his career. 7. 6 of those are with hamstring injuries, and I'm combining it with yesterday. The Bengals are 1-6 in those games. 1-6. He's also left 4 games early with hamstring issues. The Bengals are 1-3 in those games. Again, courtesy of my guy, Jay Morrison. They rely on wide receiver 2. Wide receiver 2 is a vital position, an important position. And when Higgins isn't out there, they do not have someone that they can count on right now to fill that void. And that's why the Bengals wide receivers as a whole are losers today. I'm going to get to more, and you're going to want to stay tuned for the losers. We'll get to more of those coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by BetUS. BetUS is the place you need to go, whether you think the Bengals are going to win a couple of these games, starting with the Raiders, where they're favored by more than a touchdown. With BetUS, you can get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and then a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits. All you have to do is use code YouTube150. That's right. Use code YouTube150 and you'll get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits. You can do live wagering on all major games, whether it's Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, the World Series, or Bengals Raiders, the return of Marvin Lewis to Paycor Stadium. They have a fast and easy withdrawal process, a deposit process that's very simple as well. So go to betus.com today, use code YouTube150 and get in the game. All right, let's get to our other losers because it's a lengthy list. We had no winners this week. The wide receivers led the way, but Zach Taylor right behind him, right behind them rather. The 4th and 1 decision, I've defended Zach Taylor a ton. I would go for it. 4th and 1 on your own 39. Your defense hasn't stopped anybody. I'd go for it there every single time. No questions asked. Go for it. But you have to pick up the first down. And I rewatched the play. I checked out what people have said, and I still hate it. I hate the idea of throwing to Jamar 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Even if it could have worked, if this happened or that happened, I just don't like it. Don't mind throwing. I understand throwing. Hate the idea of doing what they did. And that's why Zach Taylor is on this list, because that play, if they get that and they march downfield and score, we're talking about a shootout. We're talking about the Bengals being in the mix still in that game. And that's the moment where it got away from them, because then it's 27-17. Joe Burrow throws a deep one to Jamar, and then it's just a little bad luck. It gets tipped, and then it's intercepted, and then the defense can't get a stop, and now the game is over. In these NFL games, especially against good teams like the Eagles, and the Eagles are a good team, a really talented team, they swing like that. And we've seen the Bengals win games that way, where it's close, it feels tight, and then they pull away because of a couple of mistakes. The mistake was not to go for it. The mistake was the call. And the mistake was, if you're banking on Andre Yosavash to push vertically to knock Cooper DeJean out of the way, essentially, by running his route, that's a lot to ask for on 4th and 1. And that's essentially what the design was, to give Jamar space to run and get the first down. Don't mind going to Jamar. I do mind throwing it 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and that is the call. That was the design. Now, is there another option in that play? Fine. But it's Jamar Chase. Maybe get Jamar Chase downfield. Like, honestly, 4th and 1, I don't mind having a go ball situation where you're doing that. They're thinking run, they're thinking quick game, and instead you go the other way and try to push the ball deep downfield. 2 other losers for you, and the entire defense takes an L this week. Literally the entire defense, and I think it's well deserved. I mean, this defense gave up, and I'm pulling up the possessions list: field goal, punt, touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown, field goal. 3 straight touchdowns spanning from the second quarter, late in the second quarter, through the third quarter. 21 points there, just completely outmanned in that stretch, and the game's over. When that happens, the game's over, because then Zach is like, all right, well, our defense is giving up 3 straight touchdowns. We got to go for it here. We're in a shootout. You don't get it. And then the defense forces the Eagles and holds them to a field goal, but the damage is already done. And then 27-17, big change with the turnover, the interception, and the defense can't get a stop. The Eagles go 12 plays, 85 yards for a touchdown. They rack up 7 first downs on that drive to clinch the victory. That is what we saw earlier in the year. And the concerning part about this defense is Sam Hubbard, healthy as he's been, blocked by a tight end. Trey Hendrickson getting just pulled on the touchdown. Jalen Hurts' touchdown to Devontae Smith. Trey Hendrickson is 14 yards in the backfield because he can't get around Fred Johnson. Myles Murphy, you notice him? Did you notice Joseph Osai? Did you notice Sheldon Rankins? Did you notice BJ Hill? Couldn't get pressure. And when you don't get pressure on Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts has Saquon Barkley in the backfield, and he's also got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. And they didn't even have Dallas Goedert. Imagine if they had Dallas Goedert too. So the defense, the entire defense, takes an L. And our last loser of the week, Evan McPherson's missed 3 straight now from 50 plus. He's got to make these. He does. And whether it's the hold and the operation and that element of it being unfamiliar with Ryan Rico, I don't know. I don't think Evan would take blame or put blame there. I think he would take all the blame. And so, yeah, you're on the losers list, Evan. And I think he would understand that. Got to make those. That was a big point in the game. The 4th and 1 was the biggest turning point, but not getting a field goal there. And then the Eagles marching downfield and tying the game right before the half. Another big moment for sure. Another turning point where it's like, all right, well, worst case, you're up 13-10 if you make that field goal. And instead it's 10-10, and the Eagles had to feel great at halftime because they're tied 10-10 and they were outplayed in that first half. And if you're the Bengals, you outplay them and you're tied, probably didn't feel great, even though they were playing well. Things are wild right now. But the good news is if you want to help make a difference in the community, and I hope you do, we're asking you to help make a difference in the community. Join us on Tuesday, this Tuesday, October 29th at noon at the Eckstein School in Glendale. And we're going to be there from a noon for a couple of hours. The Bengals are going to be there from noon to 3, multiple Bengals players. We've partnered with Paradigm Construction, Ted Karras's construction company, and they're cleaning up this historical landmark, the Eckstein School. I mean, we're really excited about it. We're going to be there, and there's going to be food truck there. There's going to be T-shirts there for volunteers while supplies last. Really, really cool event to help make a difference in the community. So please, 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 if you have time, and I get it, Tuesday, middle of the day, but if you have time, feel free to join us out there. Would love to see you and make a difference in the community. I was hoping to plug this after a win. Much, much easier to do. Regardless, making a difference in the community is important, and we will be there at noon at the Eckstein School in Glendale, Ohio. So it's 44 Washington Avenue. You can see it on the flyer there. Excited about that as well. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. We will see you on Tuesday if you can make it. And if not, we're going to see you all week long here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk, because we aren't going anywhere. For Andrew Fox-Miller, and I'm James Rapien, thank you so much for watching this video brought to you by BetUS. And until next time, this is Cincinnati Bengals Talk.